Ya, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from 3 BMMA S1/1. For today, we are going to present our assignment, which is vehicle tires for the subject BMMA 3533 Vehicle Dynamics Assignment. Our group member consists of myself, Akmal Hakim bin Azizi, Muhammad Fernanda bin Saiful, Aiman Ashri bin Arifuddin, Ahmad Faidhi bin Ahmad Fadil, and Muhammad Farid bin Masri. A little introduction about our assignment. A tire is a ring-shaped component that surrounds a wheel's rim to transfer a vehicle's load from the axle through the wheel and into the ground and to provide traction on the surface over which the wheel travels. Most tires, such as those for automobiles and bicycles, are pneumatically inflated structures, which also provide a flexible cushion that absorbs shock as the tire rolls over rough features on the surface. Tires provide a footprint called a contact patch that is designed to match the weight of the vehicle with the bearing strength of the surface that it rolls over by providing a bearing pressure that will not deform the surface excessively. The materials of modern pneumatic tires are synthetic rubber, natural rubber, fabric and wire, along with carbon black and other chemical compounds. They consist of a tread and a body. The tread provides traction while the body provides containment for a quantity of compressed
It's
air.
a little bit of feature review. First, the journal is life cycle assessment of a vehicle tire. A systematic review. Second, the tire tread pattern and there are many uses. Third is a good year rollout of tire made of 70% recycled material and another 0% air in it. And for wear and tear of the tire. A stealthy source of microplastic in the environment. Fifth, the research on operation characteristic of tire with run flat inserts. So next, the discussion for the journal. For the first journal is a life cycle assessment of vehicle tires, a systematic review. The methodology is first question formation. This study aims to understand the application of LCA. LCA means life cycle assessment in the tire industry and unveil the environmental impact of tire. So the impact of interest are environmental impact causes by the tire industry to air, water and soil, and to human health, ecosystem and natural resources. Second, locating the study. String for the searching in the literature were life cycle assessment or LCA and tire or tires. The title of or abstract of the article retrieved should contain the keyword to guarantee the comprehensiveness of this review. There was no constraint on the time of publication. So the result for the journal is first functional unit found that 20 study 46% use the mass-based FU such as 1 ton of tire. The next is the mass-based FU also include others such as 787.5 ton textile fiber from ELT, 6,000 kilogram waste textile fiber and 29,140 kilogram waste tire. Second, the life cycle impact assessment method, LCIA. There are two approaches in LCIA, namely the midpoint problem oriented and the endpoint damage or intent approach. The midpoint approach assess the environmental impact of the emission level, emission of the carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide, while the endpoint provide damage evaluation on the area of the protection. So next, the second journal.
So the second journal is about tire tread patterns and their many uses. So the study aims to find out why there are various designs of tire treads and why engineers designed the tire the way they were made. This section will discuss the design of tire adequate to its purpose, including racing tires, off-road tires and everyday use tires. The tread is part of the tire that contains the surface that contacts the surface of the road. And if you take a look at different tires on the market, you'll notice a great deal of variety in the tread patterns. Taken together, there are grips, grooves, tread blocks and sipes, and can be arranged in a unique pattern to modulate the tire's performance in critical areas like noise, handling, traction and wear. And that in turn provides tire manufacturers with the ability to develop tread patterns to address specific driving needs like wet braking, dry handling, aquaplaning or hydroplaning resistance, and traction on ice and snow. So the result, most common tire of the most common type of pattern is symmetrical. It's suitable for passenger car tires but not for high performance use. Tires with the design have continuous ribs or independent tread blocks across the entire face of the tread, and both halves of the tire feature the same pattern. It ensures comfort, smooth driving, and stability during driving. A tire with an asymmetrical pattern features two separate tread designs, one on the inner half and another on the outer half of the tire. It looks unusual, but both halves serve a distinct purpose. The inner tire tread is responsible for water displacement and protection against aquaplaning, which is when the tire is in contact with a puddle of water in a volume or body of water. So the outer tire tread has rigid tread blocks for higher lateral stiffness, which provides high grip when cornering and driving in dry surfaces. Mostly, asymmetrical tires are used on high-performance vehicles. Thank you.
So the third journal is Goodyear. Goodyear rolls out one tire made of 70% recycled materials and another 0% air in it. Methodology. First, build tire from sustainable materials. The show has evolved into an incredible platform for automotive-related manufacturers, and this year's edition is no different. Unveiling two products remarkable, each in their own way. One is made of 70% sustainable material, the other requires 0% air to function. Second, a test program for an airless tire. Announce a test program for an airless tire. This will be tested by Starship Technologies. So result, the recycled materials in the tire will help reduce the company's dependence on petroleum products. Carbon black, which strengthens and extends the life of the tire compound, is traditionally made by burning petroleum, but Goodyear create carbon black from methane, carbon dioxide and vegetable oil, reducing carbon emissions in the production process. Users access soybean oil from the traditional food and animal industry to keep the rubber flexible when temperature change. Silica, on the other hand, is needed to improve grip and reduce fuel consumption. Goodyear create a new form of silica from a rice processing byproduct called rice husk ash, which often ends up in landfill. Goodyear has also made tire coats by recycling polyester from plastic bottles. Builds up operates more than 1,000 autonomous robots that deliver package. Michelin has already introduced an airless tire and test in own version on Chevrolet Bolts in 2019.
Okay, for the fourth journal, wear and tear of tires, a sensitive source of microplastic in the environment. Okay, the method is to end the aim of the present review is to bring together a fragment knowledge on wear and tear of car tires, emit into the environment, and provide global assessment of the implication for human health of the emerging source of microplastic. Describe the characteristics of the tire and its wear and tear. Summarize the amount released in environment in the different country. Describe the different pathway of the wear and tear into the environment. Present an estimate of the total amount of tire wear and tear to total emission and microplastic to the ocean. Discuss possible effect on humans and evaluate mitigation option. The number calculate the present, the paper and rough estimate should be considered as such. And the result is the tire wear and tear particle size is dependent on many factors such as of pavement temperature, speed, age and composition of the tire. However, the particle size report in any particular experimental study also depends on the experimental setup. As you can see, the figure 1 shows four studies from 4 different countries based on the wear and tear. And based on the 4 study, we conclude that the literature data show a considerable variation in the size distribution of wear and tear particles.
Okay, lastly, the General 5 is about research on operation characteristic of tyre with run flat insert. Okay, the methodology. There are three cases to how to investigate process of wheel failure. The first case consists of tyre puncture caused by a gunshot, driving over sharp object, and so on. This is instance of the central tyre inflation system of car will normally compensate for the air leak. If the pressure is severely low, extended driving will almost certainly result in the failure spreading quickly due to heat and extreme tyre sidewall deformation, resulting in the second case. In the second case, the wheel rolls in the absence of inflation pressure. The run flat system insert with contact the inner surface of the tyre in the tread area, transfer most of the force on the tyre. The tyre carcass is subjected to significant deformation until it breaks, which is aided by heat development in the deflected area. The third case is when the tyre is completely damaged by explosion or heat, which cause the insert rolls directly on the ground. Without protection, the insert will encounter to extreme abrasive wear and will lose huge parts of instructional material on a regular basis. Finally, the insert will be obliterated completely. The process will result an unfavorable effect on tyre characteristic, additional in rolling resistance and lower traction, increased tyre temperature, degrades equipments for tyre construction, and the tyre will be used rapidly. The tyre cannot be used directly on the ground, especially when the surface is very irregular. Measurement of rolling resistance, tyre temperature, tyre radial stiffness, and hysteresis will carry out at standard, low, and zero inflation. Tests on the road wheel facilities with road surface replica and result and summary. The study has revealed that the impact of the tyre construction, steel versus textile, on its properties during the operation under the reduced inflation pressure of flat tire of the wheel equipped with the run flat insert. The result indicates that tyre 2 in the most featuring better of properties. Smaller hysteresis mean less heat generation at the carcass and probably longer driving distance at given speed of the vehicle with flat tyre. On the other hand, the use of these tyres seems to have a negative impact on dynamical interaction between the road and the vehicle bodyworks. In this case, however, changes in the vehicle suspension rigidly should be included, since the suspension can be compensate the increase of tyre stiffness by expansion of the gas strap. Furthermore, the obtained results show the necessary for more research on the matter, especially on distribution of contact pressure between tyres and road surface when the tyre
For the
is
conclusion of the assignment vehicle tire, in the end, the tire required is balance. Wheel tire combination require an even distribution of mesh around their circumference to maintain the tire balance. While turning at speed, tires are checked at the point of manufacture for excessive static imbalance and dynamic imbalance using automatic tire balance machine. Tires are checked again in the auto assembly plant or tire retail shop after mounting the tire to the wheel. Assembly that exhibit excessive imbalance are corrected by applying balance weight to the wheel to the counteract the tire imbalance. Secondly, centrifugal growth. A tire rotating at high speed tend to develop a large diameter due to centrifugal force and force the tread rubber away from the axis of rotation. This may cause speedometer error. As the tire diameter grows, the tire width decreases. Third and lastly, relaxation length. Relaxation length is the delay between when a slip angle is introduced and when the cornering force reach its steady state value.